Welcome back. Um, our B2B conferences continues. Now there will be next speech. Our topic is publishing AAA games in Turkey. And speaker Eray Uygun, Senior Operations Manager at Tencent Games. Stage is yours. Hop, sorry. Şu sizin, şuradan açıyorum. Bir bakarsınız. Evet. Alta doğru basarak geçebiliyorsunuz burada. Şöyle. Okay.
All right, thanks everyone. Sorry for my voice. It's been a hectic yesterday. I'm Eray, working as a Senior Operations Manager. From the looks of it, CEO, founder, Vice President, co-founder, founder. Yeah, I'm probably the first one who's not a founder, which is a blessing, I believe. What I'm going to talk about here today is rather different from the most of the speakers here. Publishing games in Turkey. The AAA, you shouldn't focus on the AAA thing that much because the AAA can be a bit decisive. It's not really hard to define. It's not really easy to define AAA these days because it belongs to many genres and many different kind of games. So you can imagine it like publishing games in Turkey. All right. So these are the things I really like to change my microphone.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers. I'm in this industry for around +8 years now. Worked as a product manager and live operations mostly, but I really into event and offer design, economy design, monetization design, and also deconstructing games, which is I'm a big fan of. So a quick look to the history. This is something that you guys probably seen many times, but not particularly for Turkey, which can be a bit surprising for you because at the download side, yeah, the hyper-casual is still killing it with over 40%. Yeah. Download share. But the thing is the revenue side, which is I strongly focus on, which is Tencent and many big publishers are focusing on. This number is just Turkey, and you can imagine it like based on the revenue side, just in a purchase, there is a market which is bigger than $200 million in Turkey a year. So focusing on games which requires high volume of downloads with less in-app purchases, maybe more subscription models and ad monetization would be an ideal approach for many of you. But I kindly suggest to you not to forget things are happening at the in-app purchase side for the bigger games because when you check it, it's pretty big. And when you think like Turkey probably covers maybe less percent of the revenue, total globe revenue, when you compare with the other countries like Tier 1 and Tier 2, this is pretty big. But the thing is, if you check now the top grossing 100 games in Turkey or globally, you're going to realize that only a few of them just released, or at least released in a year. 95–98% of them still live, probably more than 5 years. So this is what I'm focusing on, what Tencent is focusing on, and what other big publishers are focusing on. Games like as a service, or games like, how do you define live games, games are living, whatever you say. But I mean, never forget that what's happening at the monetization side. Yeah, where's the thing? Okay. Well, when you are a product manager or a publishing manager who's working for a big company like Tencent or Netmarble or NetEase, these guys have multiple imagine to become a publisher. And this is same for other publishing divisions as well. Not just developing. We have no developers in Turkey. We have no game designers in Turkey. We're just responsible to localize a game. And to decide a game to release in any region, don't think like it's just a Turkey oriented. There are some questions that we need to ask ourselves. These questions can be applied to any genre, even hyper-casual. But there are things that differentiate it from the light casual games, like, is there a market potential? This is the first question that we ask. It's not like, is there a trend? Don't get it wrong. It's a market potential thing. Like, if I release an Battle Royale game, what will happen? Is there a room for it? Can I just compare with Apex or PUBG? That is the main question. And when you go to the game, if you have a question to answer, how do we differentiate us from others? This is the thing that we need to answer. Like, if you are making a Battle Royale game and that game requires you to jump off a plane, same as PUBG, just shooting colors instead of real ammos or something, that's not going to work. That's why Apex is working. So this is the first thing that you need to be sure. And the second thing is why others are successful. Same thing for any other genres. Like, you need to be sure why are they doing great? Why are they generating revenue? I'm not telling you why are they generating download. Why are they monetized this good? What is the average revenue for per user? And this kind of monetization questions that you need to answer. And if you have an answer, that should be the why are we special? I mean, yeah, you could have a really great game, but you need to answer the very special thing that you have on. Still, can be applied to many games, but think like it on a monetization side a little bit. And what is the market size? This is the very critical thing. You cannot just release a Battle Royale game to achieve 10 million downloads in a week. It's going to cost fortune for you. It's not going to work. But for the reality, you're going to probably reach 1 million download in a year or more. And you're going to probably be getting the money that you have spent in 6 months, not a week. I've seen hyper-casual studios are generating the positive revenue in a day, which is ridiculous. But in here, the reality is if you spend to get people inside the game, you're going to be sure that. Yeah, that's why the market size is very important to fit yourself into the industry. And what is the MAU? The active user, as you may know. And this is very critical for all games, but for the mid-core to hardcore games, it is more than critical. Because, for example, for a casual or hyper-casual game, you can make, let's say, $1 million with 10 million players, right? But for mid-core to hardcore games, you can make $1 million. And the optimum release date. You cannot just, make a plan, complete your game and release it right away, because a game like PUBG, for example, or Valorant, it takes like 5 years at least from scratch to release. And the people amount that is working for that project, probably more than 500 people. So if you're going for it, the optimum release date needs to be set probably 1 year before. Imagine the stress that you're setting a release date 1 year before the release. It's just too good to believe in, to be honest. And that is a question that you need to answer also, what is the optimum development length. To test a casual game or a light casual game, it requires probably up to 2 to 3 months to test it, not talking about hyper casuals. But to create Tencent people the other day to talk about the release plans for one of our games, and one of them said in Europe and North America, people don't really like Tencent because the Tencent owns everyone, and Tencent really likes to implement microtransaction into the games. But I said in Turkey, it's not like that. In Turkey, for some reason, people like pay-to-win games for years now. And it's like kind of a habit, I believe. We really like to get and feel special if I pay for something. And that's why when you are going for a local publishing, you need to be sure to know what your audience is expecting, really. I'm going to dive into more details after this. Okay. Going to speed up.
Yeah, a little bit.
And the key success stories or factors to achieve a really good thing in Turkey depends on the first localization. Not talking about translations, because if you are going for a translation or localization for a mid-core to hardcore PC or mobile game, it takes like 10K word translations. And to translate a game like this probably takes like 3 months. And then testing, so you can imagine it like 6 months just for localization. But it is important. Local events, your Turkish players or Mexican players or Brazilian players will not like the Halloween. They hate Halloween. They're not going to celebrate it. They have no idea what the hell is Halloween. But they know Ramazan, right? So this is a tricky thing that you should consider. Community management, hyper-casual, casual games, they don't care about what the community is. They have no idea what YouTube subscription number is. They don't care, which is good. But in here, you have to be sure that you have grown your community pretty good, pretty fast for all social media pages. The local customer support, it's a must. The Turkish customer support or Mexican or Latam, I don't know. Online and offline, just targeted Facebook ads, you work with influencers, or maybe even just do some things in a sports match, I don't know. And the technical optimization, you need to be sure that servers are in Turkey, or at least working as a servers are in Turkey. Your latency is around 60, and your game can be downloaded without the Wi-Fi recommendation. So these are very important and leads to owning the project service as it's developed locally. Yeah. And the road to release, things that I have already told you, but like a summary here, you can imagine it like the first dot is the testing version, and the last dot is release. And for the local publishing divisions, this takes like probably 1.5 years. So if you have a game, that will be published globally, and if you're working with the local studios, for local studios to get ready and release the game, it takes like 1 or 1.5 years. And it requires a passionate working here, like competitor analysis, local technical requirements. I think not every team can hold a battle royale, because we have 4 different divisions in Tencent. One is MOBA, one is Battle Royale, one is new games, one is other. Everyone's expectations and experience are different. Community building, localization and QA. QA is very important, very technical. Marketing preparations. You cannot just say, I'm going to spend $1 million on Facebook. It's not going to work. You have to divide it into marketing opportunities. Pre-registered closed beta. Important to create a hype, and early access open, and then the global release. And the global release will be delayed for 100%. I have never seen a game that I have been published haven't been delayed. They're going to be delayed at least for 3 months to 6 months. And the key learnings that I have learned in years for local publishing or any publishing for mid-core, hardcore games, the game's potential is not about the market, but game itself. I mean, yes, the market potential is important, but if the game is not good, nobody's going to play it or nobody's going to suggest it to any friend. So it's critical. Localization is not translation, it's creating a proper local content, not just you know, translating fuck to kahretsin, it's totally a different approach when you use the localization. The download can be the door to success, but the monetization is the key. If you're generating 10 million downloads like you know, Among Us when it's prime, but if you cannot generate 100 million downloads from 10 million player like Among Us did, this is a fail. And they knew this is a fail. That's why the game has failed now. So it really depends on how your monetization is working for each player. And without a dedicated community, as I said, it's very important. You cannot just release a game without the community pages, without hundreds and thousands of players waiting for it, without 10,000 registered users for your closed beta or something. That is important. And your best game may die if it is failing in an optimized download period. I mean, the technical part, really important. You have to be sure that your game is working probably in all Android devices if you are aiming for Turkey. For example, any Royal game that Supercell has released can even work on a potato TV, right? So it's important. And the cross-culture training, something probably you don't really feel like, but if you're working in a company like Tencent, you're just working with Chinese people 90% of the day. So you need to be sure what they eat every day, how they feel about Turkey, how they approach their daily lives, etc. Yeah. And this is the structure that we have in Turkey. We have localization, departments, community management, marketing, influencer marketing, live operations, esports, customer support, and creative. So I'm not just saying you that just create your own game and have this in your company, but at some point, if you somehow join a company that is developing and publishing locally or even globally, these are the things that you are going to face. The team structure in Turkey for many studios divides into very limited parts, like development, game design, marketing, go. Most of them don't even have marketing. But if you're doing something like us or similar to us, this is the thing that you really need to take care and go. And it takes time. Right. Thank you so much. A quick presentation. Hopefully it will light some things in your mind. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask to this wonderful voice. Thanks.
Thank you very much again, Eray. We have a little bit break for coffee break. We will meet 3:30 p.m. So see you later.